It is time to clean out the medicine cabinets. Tomorrow is National Prescription Drug Take Back Day. The Drug Enforcement Administration hosts this nationwide event twice a year to help people safely get rid of any old or unwanted prescriptions to help combat the overdose epidemic. Here to talk about it this weekend, this weekend's event is Bill Bodner, Special Agent in charge of the Los Angeles DEA. Thanks for joining us today, sir. Talk about the importance. Talk about the importance of the Drug Take Back Day. Why is it so important?
I think it's so important now because drug use in our community is a cycle, whether it's experimental drug use, recreational drug use, or eventual substance use disorder. It's a cycle, and oftentimes what we're seeing is it starts with leftover unused prescription drugs that we have in our home. And today, the biggest danger in our community is the illicit drug fentanyl, and we're seeing fentanyl in the form of counterfeit prescription drugs. So many times what will happen is, especially with children, curious friends of our children, they'll look through medicine cabinets, they'll find legitimate prescription drugs, take them, and then go look for these drugs on the street in the black market. And that's where we're seeing, unfortunately, the deaths in our community.
The fentanyl crisis is truly shocking and terrifying, frankly. Talk about how this drug is now making its way into all these other recreational drugs that you normally wouldn't associate with it.
John, that's such a great point, because what I'm telling people lately is if you're someone experimenting with drugs, or if you're a recreational drug user, you are at risk of a drug-caused death now because of where fentanyl is. A lot of times people will seek out prescription drugs on the street. 100% of the time now, those drugs on the street are not legitimate. They're counterfeit pills. They're made with fentanyl. People don't know what they're getting, and that deception is what's causing a lot of problem. It's also made its way into drugs such as cocaine, the speedball mixture, a mixture that's been around in this country for 80 years, but people don't necessarily anticipate that that's what they're going to be getting when they buy cocaine. They don't have a tolerance to the opiate drug, and it causes an overdose.
You know, I hate to bring this up, but I fear it's something that we're going to be talking about at some point. How big is the concern of some type of mass casualty event involving fentanyl getting into some water supply or something terrible like that?
Yeah, I don't have the concern for the water supply. I do have the concern for mass casualty events. And to be quite honest, we've seen them in our community, John, already. In September of, 2020, we had an incident where we had 7 overdoses and 4 deaths in Pasadena, California. And this was one of those times when fentanyl had been mixed with cocaine and people took it and they were unaware. So I have a great concern for recreational drug users and mass overdose, mass casualty events as far as that goes. But I don't have the concern with fentanyl getting into our water supply or affecting our community in a kind of a way outside of the drug chain.
And Bill, what can we do? It's so easy to smuggle this stuff. It doesn't take much. I mean, what do we do to slow down the fentanyl trade?
John, the number one thing now is education. I mean, we have to empower people to make better decisions. There are still people out there who think when they buy a pill on the street that it's a real prescription drug, and it's not. 100% of the time, it's not. There are still people out there who trust their drug dealer, believe it or not. They trust their drug dealer when they're buying cocaine, that there's only cocaine in that powder. And these days, you cannot, you just can't be that trustful of your drug dealer. Fentanyl has made it into all these different drugs. We need to educate people about that so they make better decisions.
And is it being produced in Mexico primarily and coming across? Is that what we're seeing?
That's exactly what we're seeing. So the chemicals come from China, they come from India. The drugs are produced in Mexico, whether it's powdered fentanyl or whether it's fentanyl pressed to look exactly like a prescription drug that's common in this country, smuggled across the border, comes up here to LA. Unfortunately, we bear the brunt of a lot of these problems because LA is a transshipment center for the rest of the country.
Right. And Bill, where can people go for more information?
DEATakeback.com. Go to that website, put in your zip code. You can find a drop-off spot nearby. It's completely anonymous. We don't look at what people are dropping off. We don't question people. Just bring the stuff in.
All right, sir. Let's hope we can get the word out because it is devastating what we're seeing out there. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.